But what they did is they identified, when they analyzed different data from multiple sources, they identified a very strong correlation between the sales and the tenure of the salesman in that region. And when they see that where the tenure were less for the salesman, the sales were on the declining trend. Because, when the salesmen are staying for a short time, they were taking all the relationships with the customers with them. So that was actually the main reason. And that insights generated when they combine, or you can say analyze financial data with non-financial data, that's the tenure of the. And that led to lots of different decisions. Then the CEO, the top management of the company, they involved the HR. How should we, improve our turnover? How should we retain our employees better in the sales department? So many things comes up, and that was really the new insights for the whole company. And even for the HR was involved in the decision making.
This podcast is sponsored by.
So in our podcast Leader Insights, we invite business leaders to speak about their personal mastery and their business insights. And the subject of digital transformation is somehow misused these days. Everyone is using digital transformation in a different context. And we're happy to have you, Zeeshan, in this podcast to share some light about the digital transformation journey, because you're the expert of that. So welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Mahmoud. It's my great pleasure to have you with you.
So before we start, we just need to know you better. And if you just take a few moments to explain, how do you define your personal mastery in general?
I believe personal mastery is about how you control and manage your own life or your own career. I usually say to people, like, you are the CEO of your life. And as I think the Stephen Covey said in his remarkable book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, that you should start with the end in mind. That's what I think mean is, like, you should have the very clear vision and mission of your own life. What's your destination? Where you want to, what you want to achieve? What's your end goal or objective in life and the purpose of life? I believe most of the professionals, either finance professionals or business professionals, when they are indulged into their day-to-day activities, jobs or businesses, sometimes they, lose the focus on their own purpose in life. That's why I believe the personal mastery is really, really very important. It's about controlling, managing your life, having the clear vision, mission of your life, your objectives, and the clear roadmap, how you are going to achieve those objectives. That's how I define personal mastery.
So in that sense, in life, we have a lot of noise impacting our personal mastery and impacting our way of controlling our own life, our objective, our purpose. How do you manage the noise on a daily basis? How do you stick to your personal mastery or your life objective in general?
Yeah, of course, as you mentioned, life is never a straight line. It's for nobody. If you are expecting a life to be a straight line, it means you are not much practical. So always the challenges are there. And if you have that mindset, if you have that passion to achieve something, I believe there are nobody who are free from hurdles or obstacles in their life. So you should have that right mindset, the patience, perseverance, passion to achieve something. Then I think you should be able to cope with such challenges in life. And that's how I did also in my entire journey.
Okay. And in life in general, there is a special moments. We know them like a lighting spot in our own career and our own personal life as well. You remember these moments. It's like a key moment in life.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have one of these moments where you decide that this is the moment that I need to work differently on my growth, on my mindset, on my life in general? Like a key moments in life?
Yeah, exactly. I think as I started my career into accounting and finance. And as you all know, due to this emerging technologies and disruption, the role of finance and accounting going through a massive transformation and change. So when I was working as a traditional general accountant or even auditor, I started from PwC. From that time, I was having this feeling that my role is very traditional. It's very, you can say, the back-end service provider, just working on the numbers, box ticking, compliance. So from that time, I really had this feeling really I need to step out of my comfort zone if I really want to, play a more active role at the forefront of the business rather than at the back end. So from that time, I had this feeling that I need to upskill myself in order to elevate my role within the organization as well as in my career.
Okay. I have one more question on your foundation, but let's park for that with a minute, because you opened the door for our main subject today, which is digital transformation.
Right.
Linked of what you used to do before in your own career as well. Now, the business is going through disruption, and the base of the disruption is increasing every day. Sometimes we think that this is the last wave of disruption and then we're gonna back to normal, and back to normal never come back, as you can see, since the COVID, if I may record, in 2020. Now, during this business disruption, how digital transformation reshaping finance as a function? So digital transformation is not only entitled for finance, it is entitled for the entire business transformation. But now, how the digital transformation is impacting finance as a function, to start with?
Yeah, really, I think that's a great question. And when we talk about digital transformation these days, these are the two different words. First of all, I always tell to my clients or in our academy as well, digital is something else, transformation is something else. Digital is about the technologies, all your digital and emerging technologies you have, you name it, AI, RPA, blockchain. Transformation is really something different. Some people, when we talk about digital transformation, they usually think about only the emerging and disruptive technologies, but it's really not only about the technology. It's about how those technologies are really transforming your processes, your organization, and the most important is the people. Because without people, I believe no transformation is possible. So if you don't have the right people, the right mindset, the transformation or overall digital transformation, like according to Gartner, more than 70% of the transformation project fails. And it's because of lack of focus on the people.
So I like the concept that you divided the definition into two different dimensions, if I may say, digital and transformation.
Right.
Where you said digital, it is mainly entitled with the tools or the trends in general, not exactly as a tool. Maybe the revolution like AI is not a single tool. And transformation, which is mainly entitled for the people behavior, processes, end state or direction, the transformation journey as an overall. Now, if you can share some light on, let's start with the transformation. Let's park the digital for now. How do you see transformation is reshaping finance function in particular itself?
Yeah, sure. And I think before moving on to transformation, also it is very important. It's in my view, like there is a difference between a change and transformation. Also, I sometimes change I define as sometimes like fixing the past, and transformation is about shaping the future or reshaping the future of your organization, yourself, or your business. There are many projects which are going on into the companies which are labeled as transformation, but those are basically just change initiatives. I can give you some examples, like if you implement a new ERP system or upgrade your systems, sometimes people, named it as a transformation, but those are actually just the change initiative. They are not only really, you can say, redefining the role of finance or elevating the role of finance. So how, to your question, digital transformation is reshaping, it's basically elevating the role of finance from the back-end service provider to a more, we can say, a strategic enabling enterprise, where finance should be able to play a more strategic role as a strategic advisor to the business. So that's how I think digital transformation is really reshaping or redefining, I can say, the role of finance.
Okay. So the elevation of the finance function to be more business partner and value creator in the business rather than support function. Exactly. If I may say. Okay. Now let's build on that. Do you believe, Zeeshan, that finance to be as a business partner are more into value creator? Do they need transformation, digital transformation, or they can start from now before any digital transformation journey?
Yeah, as I mentioned, like digital and transformation, like these are the two different areas. Like if you, first of all, if you're starting a transformation in your organization, it's not necessarily only about the technologies. You can start with your processes. Maybe there are some processes in your organizations, which are like not good or not effective. You can first start fixing your processes within. Maybe that really brings some change. I can give you one example from our client recently. They have like almost a medium-sized organization with close to 1,000 employees, and they were working in the F&B industry. In F&B industry, there are lots of transactions on daily basis. Retail, they have their retail, also manufacturing, kitchens, all. There are thousands of transactions even on daily basis or weekly basis. What they were doing, like their finance function were overburdened with the invoices and the transactions, and the accountants who were sitting in the finance function, they were the ones sitting and booking all the bills, invoices. We recommend, when we go there as a consultant, we recommend them why the finance is doing it, why the branch outlets, branch manager, why you not make the process where they entered all the invoices and you have the ERP system already. And they were not utilizing it. They had the ERP, but they were not utilizing it. So just by changing a little process, it makes a huge difference in the time they saved. This is just like one example I gave you. So like this, there are so many processes in order to cash, procure to pay, record to report in your FP&A. So before moving on to any technology and tool, it is very important to have a look at your existing tools, what you have, what existing technologies you have, and either you are leveraging that technology to its full potential or full functionalities, and how you can improve your processes, your people. And then, of course, technology is no doubt one of the key enabler of any transformation. And so what I say is the transformation is enabled by technology, driven by people. So you should have the right people on the team in order to drive the transformation as well.
So speaking about the people now, Zeeshan, what kind of the new skill or competences that finance professionals they need to acquire to cope with the disruptive change as we speak now and to fit into the transformation journey? This is one. And second, now there is a merge between, you've seen as well in the market, between DNA roles and finance analyst roles and finance roles. For the first time ever, Zeeshan, I see in the job description required for financial analyst, like exactly basic competence of the DNA role as well. If you see the announcement of DNA role and finance analyst role, you're going to mix them up. It's sort of very common as we speak now as a requirement. So both goes hand in hand in my question. What kind of the new skill and competence required for the finance professional, especially the financial analyst as well?
Right. I think this is a great question as well. And when anyone asks me, because I'm in touch with so many professionals who are asking me for the advice or coaching, so always my advice starts with the mindset before the skill set. Because if you have the right growth mindset, there are two types usually, the mindset, fixed mindset or the growth mindset. If you have the growth mindset, then of course you will open lots of opportunities for yourself. There is lots of room for improvements and growth in your business or careers. So that's why it's all start first with the right mindset. And of course, when you talk about the skill sets, so I divide it basically in the three, I can say, building blocks for finance professionals. Number one is the partnering skill set. Number two is the strategic leadership. And number three is your analytical capabilities, or you can say analytical thinking. When I say about partnering skill set, it's all about your collaboration skills, your teamwork, most of your soft skills, your communication skills. So these are really, really very important, because if you have all the world's best technologies, but if your finance team, they don't have the good partnering skill, they're not able to collaborate or partner with other business functions, really, it's not going to add any value. You cannot be a value creator, really. So the partnering skill set is really on the top, most important. Then the second is the strategic leadership. The strategic leadership is all about understanding your business, your markets, internal, external factors, your competitors, and that's where you act as a strategic advisor to your business. So when you report the numbers to your management, you should be able to articulate a holistic business stories behind the numbers, not just reporting a P&L or balance sheet or simple analysis or variance analysis. That's a very traditional analysis that finance do, or even some ratio analysis. In my view, that's very old and very basic. And most of the CEOs or the management, they already know these metrics. So it's all about how you articulate the holistic business stories. That's where you need a data storytelling skills as well, very important. That's also one of the softest skills, you can say. And the strategic leadership second. The third one is your analytical thinking. That also includes data analytics, or how you analyze the data, or how you leverage different analytics tools available in the market these days. Because if you have a very good partnering skills, if you have very good understanding of the strategy, but if you are not able to analyze the data, if you are not able to derive the insights from that data, of course, you cannot add the value. So in my view, partnering skill set, as I mentioned, strategic leadership, and analytical thinking. Apart from the traditional finance and accounting, of course, those are the foundation, basic. But these are the three building blocks, I can say.
Okay.
That is really important.
That's very interesting, Zeeshan. I'll start from the last point that you highlighted, especially with the technology and data capability now. We have like a data explosion in the market. So much data now is available compared to before. Financial data, market data, economic data, and in some cases it's like free to use everywhere. And now even ERP system now started to be designed to collect as much data as we can, and now with the cloud we can store as much as we can. So the question is, how finance professional can leverage on these data? Giving the last point about the analytical skill. Any experience from your own business and customers that you deal on a daily basis, that they have so much data and they cannot make the best use out of that? What is your advice, and what do you have any example in that manner?
Yeah, very, I think this is a relevant question and very important, because when we talk about data analytics, the starting point is the data governance, because we go into many organizations on digital transformation project for our clients. The starting, obviously they want to implement data analytics tool, visualization tool, but the first starting point always is the data governance. Do they have the right data, the data sources? And also, as to your question, as you mentioned about the different sources, so yes, this is really, I think, important for the finance professionals to collect the data from multiple sources, and then you can say analyze or identify the correlation between financial and non-financial data. I can give you an example of one of our client. Their sales team, they were analyzing their quarterly results, financial results, and they saw that the sales in some of their regions were on a declining phase. They were declining. They went to the VP of sales, okay, and they asked, what's the reason of declining the sales? So the VP answered that there were some of the deals which slipped from one quarter to the next. So this was the reason of the decline in the sales. But the finance team was smart, and they were leveraging data analytics. So when they go deep dive into the data, and they collect data, as you mentioned, from non-financial data, also from different sources, not only just relying on their ERP, or even though these days we have a cloud ERP, a very good ERP system, you can collect payroll data, CRM, customer data, supplier, everything is available. But what they did is they identified, when they analyzed different data from multiple sources, they identified a very strong correlation between the sales and the tenure of the salesman in that region. And when they see that where the tenure were less for the salesman, the sales were on the declining trend. Because when the salesmen are staying for a short time, they were taking all the relationships with the customers with them. So that was actually the main reason. And that insights generated when they combine, or you can say analyze financial data with non-financial data, that's the tenure of the. And that led to lots of different decisions. Then the CEO, the top management of the company, they involved the HR. How should we, improve our turnover? How should we retain our employees better in the sales department? So many things comes up, and that was really the new insights for the whole company, and even for the HR was involved in the decision making. So it was a little insight, by comparing your financial, non-financial data. Like this, there can be several examples, even from your operations, from external factors. Maybe your sales is correlated with your unemployment, with the inflation. So many factors can be. So that's why, it's really important, because most of the time I saw finance professionals, they focus more on the financial data only, collecting lots of data from their working capital, about their cash flow, about the payable, receivables. Yes, there are lots of insights that you can derive, of course, no doubt, from the financial data itself. But you have to also identify the correlation between financial, non-financial data, and get as maximum data from multiple sources as possible, even from your CRM, your lead generation. For example, if you get the lead generation data from your business development department or CRM, you would be able to identify your sales, whether it's going to be increase, decrease, if you have a flattening lead generation curve. So lots of insights you can generate from those analytical, calculations or the correlations.
Now, you mentioned the transformation mindset when it comes to the people. There is a few points that I want to touch on the transformation before we go to the tool, and maybe we end our episode by the tool. Now, with the disruptive thinking and what is going on in the market, the finance team, or especially the FP&A professions, they need to be more agile, and they need to be more adaptable to the changes internally within their organization, or externally to the market dynamics as we speak now. So, giving the importance of the mindset of the transformation you highlighted, can you share some light on the agility and adaptability mindset as well within the finance professional, and especially FP&A?
Yeah, I think really the mindset, as I mentioned, is the cornerstone of any transformation, or the basis of any transformation projects. And even, when I am involved in lots of recruitment of the finance professional, even the CFOs and senior positions. So my questions are really, very same, pretty much the same with all the candidates, especially for the mid to senior levels. I always try to ask them, first of all, what were the problems they solve in their job and how they solve it, and I also ask them questions like, tell me the situation where your curiosity was at peak in your work. And those who really did that, they answered it very well. And those who try to, if they are just, you can say, if they're not the real story, you can understand it. So to your question about agility, and I think it's all from the mindset. If you have the agile mindset and the way you approach things, it all depends upon that, how the finance is functioning. Because most of the time, I think the finance function, since ages, how the finance function is being operating is at the back end only, That's why we call them as a gatekeeper. You name it, there are lots of numbers: scorekeeper, gatekeeper, or a number cruncher, whatever you can name it. That's why, because the finance function, usually they love working on a spreadsheet, sitting in front of their screens, not spending enough time with the business partners or with the other business functions. So that's where I think the agility is really important. And also they need to understand the latest trends that are going on into the market. How, as I mentioned in the start, the strategic leadership is all about understanding the internal as well as external factors into them, how it's going to impact your business, how it's going to impact your industry that your business is operating in. And the most important part is also what I feel is sometimes the financial planning function. It is not very rightly, you can say, or strongly integrated with the strategic planning. Usually in many organizations, they build the strategy and then the finance comes at the end, although it should be the other way around. When you start building the strategy, the finance and the HR, these are the two functions you should be aligned. You should align with them because they are the one who are going to allocate all the resources, financial resources and then human resources. And without that, no strategy or strategic planning is possible. So I think to be more agile, it is very important to integrate your financial planning with the strategic as well as the operational planning. And that's what I did also when I worked with the Dubai government on a mega FP&A transformation project. our main aim was to integrate their financial planning with their strategic and operational planning, because they had their 5-year plan comes from the government, the big government, and it was completely disconnected at the moment, at that time. So that was the aim of our transformation, to make the finance function more agile. It needs to be integrated, and there should be one single source of truth, because the data is coming from so many multiple sources, and if it is not reconciled, or how you can be more agile, or more flexible in that one. So that's why I think that's where the integration part, the single source of truth, and also keeping updates with all the latest developments that are going on into the market, that is very important. As well as you can say about the most of the finance function, they're just waiting for the monthly closing or quarterly closing. I believe now with the so rapid changes in the market, disruptions, even there's a concept of now real-time reporting, or I cannot say real-time, but close to real-time, we can say. Sometimes this word is misused also. Real-time, I think sometimes it's not possible in many cases, but close to real-time, you should be very agile, as you mentioned, the agility. So you should get the data on a real time, or at least on a short, intervals as well, to make the quicker decisions and faster, or to enable your business partners or business functions to make quick business decisions.
Okay. So back to your question about the people as well. Now, in any business transformation, there is a resistance to the change. And giving your experience, Zeeshan, on that, I'm sure you face in some customer, the leadership, they want you to lead and support a transformation journey, but people on ground, as human nature in some cases, they resist change. They don't believe in it. They are working against what you're telling them to do as a consultant, as a support from outside. I think if you can share some light on how to manage change resistance in any organization, whether you're from outside the organization or even within the organization, because that will be the huge unlock to get everyone in your journey of the transformation.
Yeah, I think the change management is really, really very important in any transformation, whether it's a business transformation, strategic, or finance transformation. The change management, and somebody who should, you can say, a change agent or transformation champion. Because what really happens is, in my experience also, where we saw most of the finance organization planning to transform, or or going through their transformation journey, is like they don't have somebody to lead that project internally. Sometimes they invite consultants like us. We go there, but of course they need somebody from within the organization as well, who should lead that, like we can say, a transformational leader. Because no doubt CFOs and finance leaders, they are very good in their operations, in operational finance, running, but transformation intelligence, I think, is something really very important. That I developed this intelligence skills by working on so many transformation projects, because always the resistance, as you mentioned, is always there. But how to cope with this type of situation is always to be more empathetic, to show more empathy to the people, and always try to see the things from their lens. Like, for example, if I go to any client or any of their departments or any function within the organization, always I start with, what are the problems you are facing? What are your number one anxiety in the business? What are the challenges you are facing? That's where the starting point. And then when you open this topic, they come up with so many things like, oh, we are facing this, we are facing this problem, challenge. And then from there, we, pick some of the points and start, okay, this is the transformation will be the solution, and how then we relate to their challenges or problem that they're facing. Either it's in their finance, in their monthly closing, they're facing issues in report generation, or you name it. There are so many functions or areas within the finance. So the point is, like, always start with the problem, the number one anxiety in the business. Even this is very important to get the buy-in, because the question that you raise is all about how you get the buy-in from the people, especially from your other business functions or within your organization, within your department. So to get the buy-in, always start with addressing their problems, their challenges, what is their number one anxiety in the business, and start to solve, those issues and address those issues. So that's where we feel. And also, apart from this, some coaching, mentoring is also important sometimes, because especially in RPA, when we talk about robotic process automation, we, like most of the people, they feel like their job is going to be, they are going to be eliminated, or redundancy. They have a fear of redundancy. So that's where we always, coach them or give them mentoring, that robots are not going to replace you. They are going to make your life easy, so that you can focus on more high value activities rather than you're spending your time on transactional work or reconciliations. That's the purpose, is to elevate your role. It's not just coming to replace your job. So that's why there are lots of resistance, because if you go for RP implementation, there is something called PDD. You have to design a process design document, and that is based on the input from the people. If the people, they are not giving you the right input, means how you will define the right process, right? So that's why lots of, as you mentioned correctly, lots of resistance is there. And so that's why we need somebody with the transformational intelligence, transformational leader, either from the outside or from within the organization. So that's how we tackle the transformation projects and make it successful. Because, as I mentioned, more than 70% of the transformation project fails, unfortunately, according to Gartner and McKinsey. If you see the survey, are failing still. And that's the main reason. Like technologies, you see, if you Google it, you will find thousands of tools, technologies are available in the market. You can see it online and over the social media, LinkedIn. People are talking about every day there is new tool or technology coming on, generative AI, intelligent automation, ChatGPT. But the main thing is how they are really going to transform the organization. That's the main challenge, I think, and that's where the project fails.
Okay, that's a very comprehensive answer, Zeeshan. I think every statement out of these require a single episode for that.
Right.
If I just quickly summarize the key highlight I have, so the empathy is extremely important. Definitely, you need to start with empathy, clarity, getting the buy-in, assigning a transformation leader. The transformation leader need to be fully embedded in the transformation journey to support the journey. Be open and transparent with the people, because the minute you're going to be open with them, if there is some task will be eliminated, let's so be it. You have to highlight this to him ahead of the time. Then at least they can make their mind and see how they can cater for other opportunity or even add more value through their own tool, role as well. That's a fabulous, I think you tapped all the change resistance answer 360 on that. Now, my last two questions, because time flies as well. In your recommendation in your business, when you go to any customer organization, and then, the senior leadership, they start with the tools, they love the tools. I have a say, Zeeshan, that supply chain people, they love to build their state-of-art factory, state-of-art machine. They love their tools, they love their fleet, they love their warehouse, you know what I mean, in that sense. Same as marketing. They love their marketing campaign, brand, image, and all of these. So now, if you go to the business leader, the minute you go, okay, we need a digital transformation, the first thing they discuss is digital, where we highlighted that transformation is more important than digital. But back to the question. If one customer asks you the question, what tool do you recommend for us on the digital transformation journey? What will be the criteria to choose and assign the tool? How you guide them to make their decision when it comes to the tools as well? Because as you said, there are so many tools in the market as we speak now.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is a really open question from the client and even for the client as well. Because we are going there as not as a solution provider, we are going there as a transformation consultant. So we are, first of all, not biased towards any particular tool. This is one of our, you can say, values, or the core value that we bring to the client. Like, we are not biased towards any tool. So when we go to the client, we always start to understand their requirements, their challenges, and what, as I mentioned earlier, also what are the problems they want to solve. And always, as Simon Sinek says, like, always you should start with the why. Why you want the tool, what tools you have already, are you using those tools to the full extent or to their full functionalities or potential, or do we really need the new tools? So the criteria is very simple, because most of the companies, what they do sometimes, one mistake you can say is like they want to bring they're just impressed by the tools or fancy tools in the market available, chat GPT, AI, generative AI, and they just want to bring it into their organization to show to their management, yeah, we are going through digital transformation. But sometimes it should be other way around. Like, you should first have clearly your own requirements, what are your challenges, problems, and then work backward. Then look for the tools or technology that can really address those problems. Because even if you talk about EPMs, ERP, data analytics, visualization, there are lots of tools available in the market. So that's why it's not really about the tools. There are so many available in the market. It's really about how the tool is going to solve your problem. So that's where we always advise to our clients to what is their anxiety in the business, what are their problems, and also what are their next 3 to 5 years business plan or strategic plan. Because if you are going to implement or invest in any technology today, it should be able to serve your future plans also. It should be scalable also, and it should be able to meet. So that's why even if we go for any finance or digital transformation project, we always start with something outside the finance. We start with the business. We start with what's your strategy, what's your 5-year business plan or strategic plan, what's your vision, mission. Because this is also one of the things, like most of the finance transformation project fails, is they plan the transformation only in silos within the finance function, and like bringing automation, but they really don't understand what really the business need from them. So that's why I think it's very important for finance digital transformation to understand what the business really need, what are the key business priorities of the business, and then work backwards and select the tools that really meets the requirement and enable your all business functions and business partners to make better business decisions at the end to add value. That's how.
I think, Zeeshan, that's a fabulous capsule on digital transformation and data analytics. We cover the digital transformation for all angles, including the change management and change resistance. That's my favorite part of the episode. And we discussed the emerging part of the digital transformation and data analytics, and how data analytics is evolving, given the big data that we have now, and how finance team, especially finance analysts, need to cater for that. Zeeshan, it was really a pleasure having you on the show, and I think you shared so many values and lights on that journey, giving your expertise in the market, meeting different customers on a daily basis. So it's really a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much for accepting the invite.
It's my honor and really a great pleasure to have you.
Thank you.